Welcome, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 28th of February, 2024, and this is the Cluster API Community Office Hours. Cluster API is a sub-project of Kubernetes SIGs, and as such, we follow their meeting guidelines, which basically means please treat everyone as you would expect to be treated, or explicitly so. Please be kind to each other. And if you would like to talk, please raise your hand, and I will call on you. So at the beginning of our meetings, we like to give a little time for new attendees to introduce themselves. So if that sounds like you, please raise your hand and I'll call on you. All right, I am not seeing any hands going up, although I know sometimes it takes a little time to find that button. So we will move on in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So let's look at our open proposal readouts. I don't think we have any, but we'll just check. Yep. No open proposals to read out. So let's get into our discussion topics. Stephen, you've got the first one with resurfacing a discussion about impacting CI release team. So please.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. I just wanted to bring this one back to community office hours. We do have some recent feedback from the previous Nawaz, who led the CI team last release cycle, and Adil, who is leading the CI team this cycle. And so the issue kind of overlaps with, CI release team responsibilities, and we've got quite an array of opinions on here. So I just wanted to kind of bring this back up and see if anyone had any new thoughts or, kind of get a sense as to where we want to go with this.
That is a great point. So does anyone have thoughts about this? I see, yeah, it's been probably almost a month since we've had conversation here. So I'm not seeing any hands going up. What are the next steps here, Stephen? Oh, wait, Nawaz just raised his hand. Please, Nawaz. Nawaz, we can't hear you if you're talking.
Oh, sorry. For some reason. Yeah. Thank you. So there were two issues going on over here, which kind of got merged into one. One was defining the scope of CI. Second one was this one, where Jack had raised a request on having 2 additional roles in the CI team. And from my perspective, the comment which I posted was on the history of how CI team has been and how we have been functioning so far. But this still brings back the question, do we need 2 more roles? Just wanted to add that level of clarity. That's all. Thanks.
Thanks, Nawaz. Mohammed, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, so I have already commented on the issue also, but I can give my suggestion about this issue. Regarding the CI responsibilities, I think a CI team can do the triaging and try to solve the issues, but when it comes to solving the issue, they can try it, but if they need help, they should maintainers should come there to help them with that. Other than that, regarding the team, for the separate team as a test maintainer, I'm not sure. I don't think we need that. Just that it should be like CI team can communicate properly with the maintainers whenever there is an issue that is difficult to solve. Other than that, there is also bug triage that is also mentioned in the CI team responsibilities. That is a bit confusing because CI team does not do bug triaging, because that is we only solve the issues that we see in the CI. We don't that is a bit confusing. Should CI team be doing that or not? Because since I've been part of the CI team last 3 cycles, CI team does not do the bug triaging. If we start doing that, then the CI team responsibility will be like much bigger. We will be looking after CI and also the bug triaging, and yeah, maybe the bug triaging can be a responsibility of the whole release team, and they can do it on bi-weekly basis. Whole release team can join a meeting, create a meeting, and they can go through the bugs that needs to be triaged on the KP issues. Yeah, that's my opinion there.
Cool. Thank you, Mohammed. Fabrizio, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I think that somehow the discussion is expanding outside what was the original scope. So we're not discussing about bug triage. I don't know where this come up, but the original intent. So the problem that we have to solve, and we are looking a way to solve it, is that whenever there is a failure in CI, currently what happens is that this failure ultimately impacts a very small group of people. That's the issue that we have. So we have to figure it out a way to get more folks that try to learn and to fix CI failures, CI flakes, etc., etc. So this is the problem that we have to because it's not sustainable that when Stefan is in PTO, or when I'm busy for 3 weeks and doing downstream work, we don't get, we keep a CI job failing for 3 weeks. It's not healthy for anyone. So Jake came up with, oh, let's introduce a new role. Honestly, personally, I don't think that we need a new role. We have the CI team, and the CI team could, in my opinion, could try to do a step more in solving issues, at least to try to solve issue and then escalate when it is not capable, or he want to, or he needed support to learn, it can escalate to maintainer. But if the job of the CI team, it is just to report, open an issue and tell this is a problem, it seems to me that, yeah, we're not solving an issue for the project itself. So why I was looking at the CM team and proposing to pump it up, because we already have the CI team is already something that is on rotation, so it's not a big effort for folks. Is already something for which we ask for volunteer, etc., etc. So it has a lot of other advantages, and it is much more simpler than introduce a new role. But honestly, I'm not concerned too much about the solution. I think what really concerns me, or what is important for me, is that we think a way that allow the project to get CI flakes and CI failures to get addressed as fast as possible. So this is what we have to look at. Then I'm open to any proposal. And possibly I will keep bug triage out of the discussion, because that's totally different issue. I don't remember asking CI team to do bug triage. If it is written, it is probably an error. That's it. Let's keep this out of the table.
Thanks, Fabrizio. So it sounds like the next steps here are that maybe we need to, like, it sounds like maybe either we don't need to take on new roles, and we need to maybe define the scoping a little better on for the CI maintainer team. That kind of sounds like what I'm hearing.
I'm trying to be, so what I proposed down in one of the comments is that let's be as simple, as pragmatic as we can. The next release cycle, instead of having 3-4 folks in the CI team, let's ask for 6, 7. And when there is a CI flakes, we ask them to try to do some more investigation. This is, let me say, I think not a big effort. First experiment to solve the problem. Let's see how it works out. If we want to do something more formal, open to it. But yeah, it usually works better when we start small.
Okay. I think that sounds good on paper. Now the tough part, we got to figure out, how do we, if we wanted to do that, how will we do it? I guess Stephen, since you brought this up, would you be willing to add a little summary of what we talked about on the issue here, just so we could help to drive it along?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was just going to throw something in the chat that says, I can take that as an action item to just kind of summarize our concrete next steps and kind of that all sounds reasonable to me. And I appreciate everybody's input on this.
Awesome. Perfect. And yeah, thanks for getting involved too and for raising this. Okay. So next we have an old colleague of mine, Daniil's got an issue here about machine ADM. So please, Daniil.
Hey, thank you, Mike. So essentially, I wanted to ask about this long-standing issue about machine admin, which had a proposal, I guess, at some stage implemented, but then it was discarded for re-evaluation and further updates as time goes on. As it comes to latest changes, there was a discussion with folks from Microsoft. They created a document which essentially splits this issue into two. One of them addresses the bootstrap changes proposal, essentially separate bootstrapping and purging into two separate things inside copy. And the other thing is machine admin itself, which is a useful tool as an agent deployed on the Persian nodes. We are currently in SUSE trying to get something together, an idea of what this can be, and trying to find probably people who are also interested in that topic. And maybe create a feature group if there's an interest. So yeah, that's an overview. What do you think we can do here? And a side question, how do you think it's possible to get some information? Because original folks like Random Variable, I don't know his real name, are not on Slack. I wasn't able to find them, and the ending discussion or the proposal for this issue doesn't lead to some Slack messages or anything related, which will explain reasoning for that thing. Yeah.
Thanks, Daniil. Do we have
Thank you.
anybody here who is familiar with this or would like to comment on it? I know, getting, reaching out to some of the old members like Nadir, yeah, that might be tough. And he might not even have context on this anymore for where we're at. I certainly don't have deep context on this. Is there anyone who, Fabrizio, please?
You're on mute.
Oh, sorry, Fabrizio. Please.
Oh, sorry. I can give a little bit of historical context. So there are a couple of issues that we are well aware of. One is that the current model does not have a clear separation of concern between bootstrapping Kubernetes and bootstrapping machines. And I don't know, this makes it difficult to reuse kubeadmin bits with things that are different than Cloud Init and vice versa. And machine bootstrap, not cluster bootstrap. Sorry. This is the first topic. The second topic is that, sorry, there are many ways to bootstrap a machine, Cloud Init, Ignition, the Windows version of Cloud Init, and probably even more, Talos. And yeah, now we struggle to handle this with kubeadmin. And another problem that was related to this area is that we would like to find a more secure way to bootstrap machines than the kubeadmin bootstrap token. So the kubeadmin bootstrap token basically doesn't provide any guarantee that when you create a token is used exactly by that machine. It can be used potentially an actor can steal the token and use it to join another node. So those are the three topics that are related to this area. I don't know if all of them are in the scope of what Daniel want to do. But yeah, there is a lot on the table. Probably the biggest problem here is to slice down something actionable. And that's the first part of the discussion. The second part is, yeah, probably a working group is more than welcome to address this. The way to create a working group is kind of simple. It is just a matter to do a PR that somehow define the goals and the objective of this working group. And there are other examples. I don't know, Mike created it is just a one page for the Carpenter working group. I can link it later. It is just a matter of declare what this working group want to do, and most important, and also how the working group intend to sync up with the main group. The real issue, as usual, is to find volunteer to work on it. My suggestion is to reach out to folks, or folks to reach out to Daniel, to reach out to folks that might be interesting, and to folks that are interested to reach out to Daniel, because yeah, to make things happen, it is always important to get critical mass.
Thank you. Yeah, that gives lots of useful information. I'll try to ask people around, and well, from high level perspective, I guess, as you mentioned, separation of or action plan is important. What we are looking from machine learning is essentially an agent as a means for securely doing data operations. Maybe one of the action items or separate issues which could be created from that one. The other one may be the actual bootstrapping procedure. The third one is the security concerns. I also had some questions when I read the document about proposed solutions there, and they might be outdated because it was 2 years prior to that moment, last time it was updated. Okay, I'll have a look how to create a PR or maybe ask questions later in Slack.
If you want, so by the way, I'm going to ping Nadir and let him know about your query. But if you want, you can also write an email to the SIG mailing list, asking if there are folks interested to this discussion.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Thank you.
I just wanted to, like, Lubomir's had his hand up for a little bit too. So please, Lubomir.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that maybe you can just take all the people who had proposals in this GitHub ticket, and you can ping everybody on Slack, create a thread. That I'm sure that people will respond. Nadir is also active, but mostly downstream. He's no longer active on Costa Rica. One question that I have is, from my understanding, this will require changes to the Costa Rica API. Maybe Fabrizio, maybe correct me. But are these changes going to be breaking? Do we even have changes related to this, or?
I think that the honest answer is that we don't know. We have to figure it out.
Yeah, I remember something was changing. There was a brief discussion at some point that this will require changes in the API. So if this is considered like a key proposal that will shape Costa API, then it might be a good idea to not release V1 before this is out, or consider releasing V2 because this will be out after V1. So it's like this, I think, is a pretty big change in Costa Rica in general.
Thanks, Lubomir. Another friendly face here. Alex, please.
Yeah, I wanted to add that we developed downstream in Ranch Array somehow similar mechanism to machine ADM that does this separation. So we install a binary on the machine, and then it connects back to the management cluster and fetches Kubernetes configuration and installs and runs Kubernetes. And we think that we can improve this model and have a stronger separation. So Ignition and our means to provision machine will be handling more of a system configuration, and Bootstrap providers will only be taking care of the actual Kubernetes configuration. And this also opens doors for, as Daniel said, for automating data operations like rotating certificates in place. But we also have to think about security, and I know Daniel has some ideas about this. So if there are other people interested, we would like to start the feature group.
How do you curious, how do you let your nodes authenticate to join the cluster in this mechanism?
It's currently all done through our internal Ranchers API, and it might also be not that secure. So we also we pass a token in user data, and then it uses it to authenticate.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, one of the ways maybe that machine admin may be secured is similar to runtime SDKs, that it will expose some sort of HTTP interface, TLS encrypted, which will authenticate installed plugins with it, which the agent itself will be able to execute, but nothing else outside of that. but I guess the problem of that mechanism is that we have to supply this installation for multiple architectures, assuming that there's Windows, Linux, Mac clusters, I guess. In these scenarios, there's no clear mechanism right now in cluster API where we can inject specific command even with having a controller or webhook. Well, we can modify the keyboard init or join commands, pre-post for cloud init things, but it's not compatible with GitOps scenarios. So maybe one of the things we need to explore first is how current mechanisms could be not, let's say, not exploited, but modified to support some specific implementation for upstream and for downstream projects to supply their own agents. And then, well, it's even up to us to say that we want to deploy this rancher agent, as Alex described, with upstream mechanisms, which will be, again, beneficial, I guess, for both parties. But yeah, there are topics for feature group, I guess.
Yeah, this seems like a feature group should get involved, and there's a lot of things to discuss. Eventually, one outcome of this feature group, I think it should be a new KAEP for Cluster API. From what I've seen from Nadir and Yassin's original proposal, I think they got it to a pretty good state, but it was the mechanism for an agent was not pluggable. So if you can create some sort of a mechanism for a pluggable agent, like an agent interface, then you can have this. Different companies can have their own agent if they want. You know, that's my point. But this is all. It's a complicated topic. I think a feature group, like a separate meeting, is definitely required for this, and a cap, basically.
Yeah, I think, big +1 for me to what everyone's saying here. I think, Daniil, like I would recommend starting a feature group, and then you can start to kind of build a time where you could talk about this. And I see Guillermo in chat is interested in talking about this in a working group as well. So, I think you've got people who are interested in working on this. Now you're probably going to have to take a little bit of the front and lead the direction of the feature group and whatnot. But it sounds like we got a good direction here. All right. Any other questions or comments on that topic? All right. I'm not seeing any hands going up. So let's go on to Willie's topic, clarifying why MPs were removed from dual stack tests. So please, Willie, take it away.
Yeah, so there's already kind of a discussion via text here, so we probably don't have to spend too much time on this, but basically I'm kind of adding all the adding machine pools to all the places that are missing them, since we support machine pools in cluster class. So I saw that there was a PR that removed machine pools from the dual stack test that and it didn't I couldn't find like what the exact failure was. So and then I started retesting it and I didn't really seem to see any consistent failures. So just wanted to get some clarification, but looks like Christian and Killian have an answer. So go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, I think I linked search for the I don't know how it's called, the storage kits.io, where you can search for failed tests. And what's in there is a spike in failures to run the conformance test directly when you see at the very right after the 20th of September, this high spike in the periodics. And it looks like that conformance test were not even able to run in this case, or failed due to something. I think the only thing we need to take care is run all the tests before merging, and maybe observe for some days the periodics if we see new failures, and then I think it should be good. and from the PR, it currently looks good. So
Yeah, okay. I didn't actually run the conformance test because I thought it was the IPv4/IPv6 test that was failing. So yeah, you did some work on MP. Okay, Fabrizio said in chat that might have fixed it. So all right, that's good to know. I'll just keep an eye out and rerun it a few more times, and also follow up with Killian. But yeah, thank you. I think know where to go from here.
Cool. Sounds good. We love problems that can be solved here at the meeting, right? All right. If there's no other questions or comments on that topic, we'll move on to the provider updates. All right, please, Matt. You got a CAPZ update for us. Looks like Matt might not be here. So looks like CAPZ has 2 new patch releases that are available. So looks like the older one has some bug fixes, and let's see what the newer one's doing. Yeah, looks a couple bug fixes as well. So if you're, and it looks like got 1.6.2 support there. So yeah, if you're looking to update your CAPZ, like there's a couple new patch releases on. All right, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Are there any other kind of ad hoc topics or anything people would like to bring up? Or shall we just take 25 minutes of our day back here? Lubomir, please.
I'm sorry, I forgot to ask earlier. This is something that I've been wondering. Downstream, people ask me, do we have like a tracking process of CVEs in Cluster API? Do we have like a automatic bot that submits updates to components? Like pull requests, like a Dependabot, CVE stuff? Do we have something like that?
Fabrizio, please.
Yeah, we have something. So we have a Dependabot that reports us about component bumps, and then we have a Trivy job running, and the combination of them help us to keep CVE free.
What was the second one called again, Fabrizio? It's Dependabot.
Trivy. Trivy, I don't know the English pronunciation. Is let me write in chat. It is a tool that basically reports CV from containers. And yeah, this is what we have. We run it in all the branches, as far as I remember. We have Christian is telling me that now we have also govuln check, which is a little bit smarter than Trivy, because Trivy tell you if you have a vulnerability, govuln check tell you if the vulnerability is actually exploitable. Yeah, we have both of them. Thank you, Christian.
All right, thanks. If this, to my understanding, this will also check for dependencies of dependencies. For example, if we are importing controller runtime in Cluster API, but controller runtime depends on API machinery, specific version that has a vulnerability, it will catch it.
Yeah, exactly. This goes up to dependencies and Golang binary as well.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Cool. Good question, Lubomir. And good to know that we've got all this stuff in place, right? All right. I don't think we have anything else. So unless anyone has a topic they'd like to bring up the last minute, we will now take 22 minutes of our day back. All right, going once, going twice. All right, thanks for coming out, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Mike, for hosting. Bye.